You know, we've all been there. You're trapped in a dark room watching a presentation that just drags on and on. And look, the truth is, PowerPoint is an amazing tool, but most of us are basically just using it like a fancy typewriter. So today we're going to change that. We're going to unlock its real power and take you from the absolute basics to the pro-level tricks that will make your presentations awesome. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get comfortable with our digital canvas. Then, we'll learn to see our slides like a director, choosing the right view for every task. We'll solve the #1 biggest point of confusion for pretty much everyone. After that, we'll learn how to actually run the show like a pro. And finally, I'm going to share the one single trick that will save you more time than anything else. You ready? Let's do this.
All right, section 1, the digital canvas. First things first, right? Before we can build a masterpiece, we gotta know our tools. These are the fundamental building blocks you'll use every single time you open up PowerPoint.
So it all begins with the slide. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like a single frame in your story. A great presentation isn't about cramming a ton of information onto one page. No. It's about giving each idea its own moment to shine. Remember this, one slide, one core idea. That's the secret to keeping your audience totally hooked. Okay, you see these dotted boxes? Those are called placeholders. And trust me, they're your best friend for avoiding messy, unprofessional slides. Instead of just kind of guessing where to put stuff, these guides make sure your layout is perfectly structured and super easy to read every time. Seriously, use them. Okay, this right here is a total game changer. You know how you always save your file as a .pptx? Well, that's your workshop file where you do all the work. But when you're ready to share it with someone, save it as a .ppsx. That's a PowerPoint show. And here's why that's so cool. When someone opens that file, it doesn't open up in edit mode. It launches immediately into the full screen presentation. It's such a small thing, but it makes you look like a total pro. On to section 2, seeing your slides differently. This really builds on that idea of using the right tool for the job. Think like a film director for a second. They don't just use one camera angle for a whole movie, right? Of course not. They have wide shots, close-ups. Well, PowerPoint gives you different views that help you build and organize your presentation way more effectively. So, these are the big 3. Normal view. That's kind of your home base. It's where you'll spend most of your time writing and designing. But, and this is important, when you need to see the big picture, you switch to slide sorter view. Think of it as your command center. You can see your entire story at a glance and just drag slides around to get the flow perfect. And then, of course, there's slideshow view. That's showtime. Mastering how to jump between these will make your workflow so much faster. All right, section 3, transition versus animation. Let's settle this once and for all. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest point of confusion in all of PowerPoint. Getting this wrong is what creates those chaotic, distracting presentations that we all absolutely can't stand. So we're going to make this crystal clear. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You want to make something move on the screen, but do you use a transition or an animation? What even is the difference? Come on, I'm sure everyone watching has asked themselves that exact question at some point. And here it is, the definitive answer. It is so simple. Transitions move the entire slide. They're the effects that happen between your slides as you go from one to the next. Animations, on the other hand, they move the individual objects, the text, the images, the charts, on a single slide. So one is for the whole page, the other is for the things on the page. And here's the easiest way to lock this in your brain forever. A transition is like turning the page of a book. It's that simple. It's the movement that gets you from one idea to the next. And an animation? Well, that's like the characters moving around on the page. See? The page itself stays put, but the text and images can come to life. That's it. That is the whole difference. So, you've built your masterpiece. Now it's time to actually present it. And knowing just a few key shortcuts is going to help you stay in control, look super confident, and keep your focus where it belongs, on your audience, not on fumbling around with your mouse. These 3 are absolutely non-negotiable. You gotta know these. F5 starts the show from the very beginning, slide 1. But the real pro move is Shift plus F5. That starts the show from whatever slide you're currently on, which is perfect for practicing. And when you're all done, just a simple tap of the escape key gets you out gracefully. Easy. Now this is one of my absolute favorite tricks. Let's say you're in the middle of your talk and you need everyone's eyes on you, not on the screen. Just press B on your keyboard for a black screen or W for a white one. The slide just vanishes, and suddenly you have the entire room's undivided attention. You can make your key point and then just press the key again to bring the slide right back. It's an incredibly powerful way to control the focus of the room. Okay, our final section is a true game changer. This is the feature that really separates the amateurs from the pros. If you want to guarantee perfect consistency and save yourself a massive amount of time, you absolutely need to know about the Slide Master.
So, what is this thing? Well, the Slide Master is kind of like the hidden boss slide that controls the look and feel of all the other slides in your deck. Any change you make here, like adding a company logo, changing the fonts, putting in a footer, it's automatically applied everywhere on every single slide.
So why should you bother using it? Well, 3 simple reasons. 1, it guarantees perfect consistency, which looks incredibly professional. 2, it saves you a ridiculous amount of time you would have spent copying and pasting. And 3, it lets you make huge presentation-wide design changes in literally seconds. It's all about working smarter, not harder.
Okay, wow, that was a lot. We've covered the canvas, the different views, the difference between transitions and animations, those delivery shortcuts, and the mighty Slide Master. You now have the core knowledge of a PowerPoint Pro. So how about we put it to the test with a quick little quiz? Ready?
Question 1. You're on, say, slide 15, and you just want to quickly preview it in full screen. What's the shortcut to start the presentation from your current slide, not from the beginning? Question 2. You apply a wipe effect. The entire slide gets replaced by the next one using that wipe. So is that a transition or an animation? And finally, question 3. You've finished all your content, but you feel like the story doesn't quite flow right. Which view lets you easily see all your slides at once and just drag them into a new order?
So how'd you do? Let's check the answers. Number 1 is Shift plus F5. Number 2 is a transition because it applies to the whole slide. And number 3 is the super useful Slide Sorter view. Hey, if you got all 3 of those right, you are well on your way. Nice work. We've covered the tools, the techniques, the pro tips. You really do have everything you need now to build presentations that are clear, professional, and super engaging. The digital canvas is yours. The only question left is, what story are you going to tell?